They don't tell you about the silence. Everyone talks about the grind, the hustle, the journey. But nobody tells you about the mornings when you wake up and the person in the mirror is a stranger. When you've sacrificed so much for a dream that you're not even sure remembers your name anymore. I want to tell you a story, not about winning, about the part that comes before winning, the part they edit out of the highlight reel. There was a version of you that died the day you decided to become great. The version that slept in, the version that said maybe tomorrow, the version that was satisfied with good enough. That person? Gone. And some nights you'll grieve them. You'll miss the simplicity, the ease, the comfort of mediocrity. Discipline isn't a motivational quote on your wall. It's not a playlist or a pre-workout rush. Discipline is showing up when your body is screaming at you to stop. When your mind is listing every logical reason to quit. When the people you love look at you with concern instead of admiration because they don't understand why you're destroying yourself for something that might never come. Focus is a knife. And the thing about knives is they cut both ways. You cut away distractions, yes, but you also cut away pieces of your old life, friendships that don't survive your absence, opportunities you'll never know about because you were too locked in to look up, moments you can't get back because you were somewhere else, chasing something bigger, and the darkness. The darkness is where you'll spend most of your time. Not the motivational kind of darkness where you emerge triumphant in 30 seconds. The real kind. The 2 a.m. kind. The what am I doing with my life kind. The kind where you sit alone with your thoughts and they don't sound like a coach. They sound like a prosecutor, listing every failure, every person who was smarter, faster, more talented, every reason you're fooling yourself. You want to know the truth about greatness? It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're scared, if you're ready. It doesn't send a notification when you've suffered enough. There's no finish line where someone hands you permission to rest. There's just tomorrow, and tomorrow after that. And the choice you make when the alarm goes off in the dark. But here's what they also don't tell you. Every person who ever did anything that mattered felt exactly what you're feeling right now. The doubt, the fear, the exhaustion, the loneliness. They felt it all. And they moved anyway. Not because they were special, but because they understood something that most people never figure out. The feelings don't have to change for the actions to happen. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to move. You don't need to feel confident. You need to start. You don't need to feel ready. You need to decide. Discipline is doing it scared, doing it tired, doing it alone, doing it when every cell in your body is voting, no, that's not weakness. That's not struggle. That's the algorithm. That's how ordinary people break through into extraordinary. The pain you're feeling? It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation you're on the right one. Nothing worth having comes easy, and nothing easy is worth having. So when you wake up tomorrow in the dark and your mind floods with every reason to stay in bed, remember this. Greatness isn't a gift. It's a choice you make when it feels impossible to choose it. It's the quiet decision in the silent hours to honor the promise you made to yourself when no one else was watching. They'll remember the victory, the podium, the moment, but you'll remember this. The morning you chose yourself when choosing yourself was the hardest thing you'd ever done. That's where champions are actually made, not in the light, in the dark, There's a moment. You'll know it when it comes. Your muscles are burning. Your lungs are screaming. Every fiber in your body is begging you to stop. One more rep, just one more. And your mind whispers the most dangerous lie you'll ever hear. That's enough. But here's what nobody tells you about that moment. That's not the end. That's the beginning. Everything you've done up until that point, that was just the entrance fee, the warm-up, the price of admission. But that last rep, the one you don't think you can do, that's where your life actually changes. This isn't a speech about the gym. This is about every single thing that matters in your life. The last rep is when you want to walk away from the business that's bleeding you dry, but you make one more call. The last rep is when you've rewritten the same paragraph 17 times and your brain is mush, but you write it one more time. The last rep is when you've been rejected so many times you've lost count, but you put yourself out there one more time. Most people never get there. You know why? Because most people stop at comfort. They train until it feels hard and then they stop. They work until it feels like work and then they coast. They push until it hurts and then they protect themselves and they wonder why their life looks like everyone else's. Let me tell you something about the last rep. It reveals who you really are. Not who you pretend to be, not who you tell yourself you are when things are easy. It shows you the truth. When your body is empty and your willpower is gone and there's nothing left but choice, that moment defines you. I've been there. In that space where your vision starts to blur and your hands start to shake and some voice in your head, a voice that sounds exactly like reason, tells you you've done enough. You've proven yourself. You can stop now. And that's when you learn the difference between the person you were and the person you're becoming. And here's the thing about that rep. It's never just physical. When you push through that barrier in the gym, something breaks open in your mind. You learn that the voice that says you can't is a liar. You learn that your limits are suggestions, not laws. You learn that you have gears you didn't know existed. And once you learn that, once you know what you're capable of when you refuse to quit, you become dangerous. Not dangerous to others. Dangerous to the old version of yourself. Dangerous to excuses. Dangerous to limitations. Dangerous to anything that tries to tell you who you are and what you can't do. So when you're in that moment, and you will be in that moment, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, when everything in you says stop, that's your invitation. That's the universe asking, how bad do you want it? How far will you go? Who are you when no one's watching and nothing's guaranteed? And your answer isn't what you say. It's what you do. The last rep philosophy isn't about destroying yourself. It's about discovering yourself. It's about learning that you're not fragile. You're not weak. You're not limited by the voice in your head that sounds like fear dressed up as wisdom. That's not suffering. That's transformation. Now get up. The world is waiting for who you become when you win the 3 a.m. conversation. Not the choice to be perfect, not the choice to never struggle, but the choice to keep going when giving up would be so easy to justify.